Alright, we're recording here. So this video I want to make for future riders, that may want to get on a bike and, ride it. I'll talk about how it started for me. You know, people say, who can teach me? They start looking for someone who can teach them to ride a bike. You know, nobody can teach you but yourself. That's what I came to understand, because they can tell you things, they can help you learn, but it's up to you personally to teach yourself how to actually do it. They can't, those people that you want to teach you, they can't take your hands and twist them and take your feet, and you actually have to do it. So when you get a bike, before you ride it, I suggest you open up the book about the bike, the owner's manual, and just go over it, read it. There's a lot of good stuff. It's usually, if you don't have it on a bike that you bought, you could download it a lot of the time, or you can buy one online. We're recording there, so go over that first so you can understand how it functions. I mean, it's a good idea to know how the machine that you're controlling, how it functions. So that's the first thing to do, I believe. Let's get on this thing. And then even before you go ride it, sit on it and understand what every button does and how you can reach it. So, because when you're riding, see, that this is a mistake that I've seen happen a lot. A person will get on a new bike. He's an experienced rider. He'll get on a new bike and that he's never ridden before. He'll go out there and he'll start riding and looking down and seeing what button does what. At this point in time, man, anything can happen on the road. You can't take your eyes off the road when you're on a bike, because things happen split second. So my suggestion is before you ride it, just make sure you can, without looking, you can turn on your turn signals, turn up the volume, the high beams, low beams. You can honk your horn. Just make sure that you can do all this stuff without looking. So practice doing that, getting the feel for all that. So next, we got the brake pedal right here. It's a foot brake, and the brake pedal right here, hand brake. Right now we're sitting on something that's called a center stand. So this particular bike has two stands. Most bikes just have this kickstand right here. That center stand is really nice, but it's really hard to get it on there. You got to actually put some muscle into it to get it up there. So this is the shift lever. On most bikes, you'll press in the clutch right there. You'll pop it into first, and first gear is down, so you push down with your foot. On most bikes, it's like that. Some are different, and you can turn that on right there. Okay, we'll turn the radio down so we're not distracted. We can see that it's in neutral. So neutral, on most bikes, it's between first and second. And on most bikes, you'll get an indicator saying that you are in neutral. So let's move this thing forward off of the center stand. That is off the center stand right now. Press in the clutch, and we're going to put this to on, so that's off and that's also off, and that's on, so that'll start your bike. This button right here is to start your motorcycle, or on this bike it also serves as the reverse. This bike has the starter actually works as a reverse gear, so if I was to press on, I believe it has to be started. So let's start it. Let's press reverse. See, now it's in reverse, and it's gonna start moving me backwards. Make sure I don't hit nothing. Almost need a backup camera. Now we have taking it out of reverse. Now we're in neutral. The clutch is in, but you can also let it out if it's in neutral. You can never let the clutch out like that when it's in any gear, because it'll either die or jerk you forward. So let's go ahead and shift into first. We press in the clutch. We flip that lever down into first. And see, on this particular bike, it has so much power that you can gradually let the clutch out and it'll just start rolling, and then you can give it gas. But on most other motorcycles, you can't do that. You have to give it gas and then let out the clutch. Otherwise, it'll die. On these more powerful bikes, you can just gradually let the clutch out, and it'll actually just start rolling. And you can almost shift into second right away. I mean, because the gears are so short on this bike. And how do I do that? I press the clutch, and I flip that pedal up with my foot. That's second gear. Now we're in second. Press in the clutch, shift up. We're in third. Now, the speed that you can go in every gear, it kind of depends on you, what you are trying to do. If you're racing, you can stay in gear longer. If you're just cruising around, you don't really need to be in gear for that long. And it actually saves gas, and it runs a lot smoother when you shift early. Well, again, I kind of lied there, because on my Honda VTX, the V-Twin, it's better for that one to shift early. But for this bike, it almost likes the higher RPMs, so I kind of lied a little bit there. So that also depends on the bike that you have. So now we're coming to a stop. First, on these big bikes, I like to use the rear brake first, and then I use the front brake. So right now I put it into second gear. First gear is just too low. So I put it into second. Now it's in the third. Going around this turn. That was a strange sound. I don't know what that was. So when you're coming up to a turn, try to imagine where you're going to start entering the turn and where you're going to come out. So see it first in your head, and that'll kind of make you understand what speed and what gear you need to be in. It's good to give gradual throttle around the bends. It gives it more stability. And it actually, the gradual throttle actually puts you through that corner much smoother. I like to shift down into second on this corner, give it gradual throttle, gradual throttle, gradual throttle, let off a little bit, and I'm out. So if I don't give it gradual throttle, it doesn't feel as stable, and you see it doesn't really want to go around the turn. It wants to go straight. But when you start giving it gradual throttle, it starts going around the turn much smoother. It's like a very strange thing. Every bike has its own specific smell to it when it heats up. And I like the Honda smell. So they teach you in those motorcycle classes that you'll want to stay in gear when you're at a stop, so that if you see something behind you or someone that's gonna slam into you, you can get out of the way. But hey, man, that type of thing. I mean, I don't want to be sitting in gear. It's just annoying and a whole bunch of just things I don't want to be doing. I just want to relax when I'm at a stoplight. It's like really the only time you have to relax on a motorcycle. Um, and if somebody's gonna ram you from behind, someone's gonna ram you from behind. I mean, where are you gonna go? You're gonna hit the car in front of you. It just doesn't make sense what they say to me. It makes no sense. So I don't do that. I put it in neutral and I wait. Don't pull out in front of cars, guys. I mean, anything can happen. You can stall, or I don't know, you just lose power on your bike, and you're gonna get hit. Just wait for everybody to pass by, so you have a safe. These things are pretty powerful. I mean, it goes. It goes.
Bowie Underground. Best mix of the 80s, 90s at 103.5. This is working home. Just one.